Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Mannino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Mannino, and welcome to Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you and how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of Miami, Florida, we got Rich Curran. How you doing, young man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being on. I really do appreciate it. So we were talking off camera. He noticed some ISK trophies, and I noticed some military accolades and military patches on his wall. So we got into that space relatively quick and for a period of time. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this online instead of behind the scenes. So, Rich, do me a favor. Tell me about your life up till now and where you're at and how you got to where you're at.
Yeah. So, humble beginnings. Grew up, lower middle class. South Florida, and my father actually started in the same industry, and he started, kicking carpet when he was 17, 18 years old, and in the same industry I'm in now. And, as he went through and I was able to join him when, as a kid, working in the warehouse, doing different odd jobs on site. And then, as I ended my school career, I realized I wasn't exactly college bound. I didn't take school very serious, and I said I needed a change, and I went off to the Marine Corps to just get a little more focus and, just get out of town. And I loved it. I loved every minute of my 4 years in the Marine Corps. And
what did you do in the Marine Corps? What was your designation? What was your job?
I was in aviation. I was an engine and fuel systems mechanic on F-18s. And I was part of a squadron, and we ended up on a carrier. So we got to go see the world via aircraft carrier. So I took
what aircraft carrier, if you don't mind me asking?
I was on the USS Enterprise first, and
nice.
Right before I got out, we were actually doing the workups on the Truman before they started that out. So, I mean, this is already, this was 96 to 2000, so some time ago. I don't know, maybe even both are retired now, but I know the Enterprise is. But yeah.
Those. So I got to fly a fighter jet one time. That was crazy. So the F-18, if I'm not mistaken, that's the baddest thing in the air.
Right now, the F-18, the Super Hornets are. I was on the old school Hornets, the Alphas and the Charlies. So yeah, there was, but still breaking the sound barrier and more maneuverable than F-14. So it was one of the baddest for sure.
I don't know if it's F-18 or F-16, but I heard a crazy story that there was a mid-air collision, or there was a rocket shot off a wing of one of the F-16 or 18, and then they proceeded to fly 10 more miles and land the plane with no wind.
Yeah,
those things are unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, we were anticipating them rolling out, and then they took a little longer, so I got out already before they started rolling in the new ones, the Super Hornets, because that's what they phased out. The Tomcats, like from the original Top Gun movie.
Yep.
When those got phased out, they brought in the Super Hornets. So yeah, it was really cool. But so after my time in the Marine Corps, it was, I got, serious about life, came back home, went to work with my father. We were a very small company here in Miami in the beginning days, and more of a regional contractor. And what we do is we build trade shows and events. So if you've ever stepped into a convention center or a hotel with a conference going on, a lot of people just think that stuff belongs to the building, but those venues have nothing. And a contractor like us goes in behind the scenes, builds out a small city, helps all the vendors get their little stand set up. Then we get out of the way, let the event happen, and then we go in and clear it all out afterwards. So that's the 10,000 foot view of what we do. And then working with my father throughout the years, him taking a step back around 2015, and taking the helm about back then, and we had a little stint called the pandemic that stopped all live events, all face-to-face industry. Our whole industry kind of went to a pause. And when we came back as a new, redefined and recharged company, and really excited about these past years of growth. I mean, we've pre-pandemic was one of our biggest years ever, and in 2019, and we're almost 4x that right now.
Nice. That's awesome. So are you going to different states, or are you staying mainly in Miami?
Yeah. So since then we've expanded. We have an office a whole operation, office, warehouse, everything in California, Las Vegas, Orlando, and we've even expanded into Latin America. We have in Medellin, Colombia,
Wow.
branch. So,
Wow. So you're going international.
yep, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually an organic move because for years, being positioned in Miami, we had so many people in the US or that were US adjacent, either, Canada or Europe, they're doing business with US. And when they needed to do an event in the Caribbean, everyone was like, "Oh, you're in Miami, so you must cover the Caribbean." And it's like, shipping overseas and stuff is a whole new, challenge. But early on, it was like, well, if there's nobody else, we should fill that gap. So we started operating throughout the Caribbean, and then had an opportunity in Colombia. So we took it, and so that way we could kind of cover all aspects of Latin American Caribbean. So
That's awesome. So you saw a need and filled it. That's
absolutely,
fantastic.
absolutely.
So there's a lot of competition in what you do. What sets you apart? What comes easy to you that's challenging to the other companies?
Yeah, we're in this niche layer of, I would say, a mid-level contractor, because we have our, call it the Walmarts of our industry that are operating on some of the largest shows. Like, you have consumer
Siemens
electronics
or
shows, CES, SEMA, and they
the
full.
auto show?
Yeah, well, actually, auto shows is more manageable. I'm talking about the ones that bring in, 200, 300,000 people to an
Oh,
event. Those are, those are large scale contractors that, I would say are my competition, but, I'm not theirs at that point. But the mid level, like I said, every auto show, boat show,
right.
we work with Miami International Boat Show, which is the largest boat show in the US. It's one of our clients. And, that's 130,000 people. So, there's a niche spot for us in this market, and we do it really well. Our, I would say, personable approach, and our team being connected with the client on a really another level, going through like the design phase. And, because I mean, at a high level, I say, we build little marketplaces and stuff, but what we do is we really get into the design aspect, the look and feel. We have custom build outs, and we really lean in on the experiential. So we want someone to go to an event and remember that event for how they felt, because that's one of the most important things. Is like, as nowadays, I mean, you want to do business with people that you like. And when you go to events, you
Mhm.
make friends, which turn into business. And for us to be able to create an environment that is, one, memorable, and two, they really like it. The sentiment is high. It's not a couple couches in the corner. It's the whole thing around it. So being able to work with our customers to really create an environment, not just a space. So that's one of our niches for sure. Um, Two is, I mean, our vision statement is, large enough to be exceptional, but small enough to be personable, and that's how we really go at all with our customers. So I would say that's our differentiator.
Nice. I like it. Mission statements are huge in businesses. Some people don't even have them.
Yeah.
So, what is one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome in your career?
Well, definitely when your entire industry was shut down. That's literally the single headed most. There were two moments. I mean, for one, the single hardest moment was me looking at my entire company in March 20th of 2020 and telling them, I don't know the future of this company or this industry. I don't know if we're coming back, but we had to go to a full closure, 100% furlough. Um,
Well, well, let
just,
me let me ask you a question. How long did it last? Because you got to understand, I was in Michigan, and
yeah,
Michigan was a shutdown for a year and a half.
yeah.
Not,
Well,
it was a lot more than friends out here in Florida
yeah.
were saying. They were shut down for 3 months. That's like, ugh.
Yeah, I would say okay, Florida, we obviously were a little different. We,
Yes,
and
you were in a good spot, is what I'm trying to illustrate.
yes, We were, I would say, a full shutdown for like 9 months because also
Okay.
it wasn't like a restaurant or something else, and it was because we were a mass gathering. Every
Right.
event is a mass gathering, and
Right.
and that's the big thing that was trying to get over. How do we accomplish mass gathering safely? According to all of the things that were put in place. So it took a little longer to crack, and also a much slower comeback because the big thing was what customers are brave enough to launch and have an event, and that they, because back then the first year everything they wanted to tag as a super spreader, which was bad press for any event. So then people wanted to postpone for the next year because they didn't want to be first to be the ones that were a super spreader. So it was that was one of the toughest things. And I would say that the culture of our company, and again, one of our differentiators is the culture of my people, because we are so much of a family that when I told 90 people that I don't have a job for you right now, um, about 60 of them volunteered to help the keep company alive. I had people
Wow.
reaching out because people knew that I was coming to the office every day. The one thing that's interesting about that the pandemic was, it was like, no, we're not canceling, we're postponing. And it sounds easy for a client to say, I'm just going to move my event from here to there. But the administrative lift of all the back end work, all the data, all the branding, all the stuff that, all the exhibitor manuals, all the stuff that is specific to a date and time and moving, and all the information all had to be reworked. So I'm sitting here trying to do everything, and people knew that, and they chipped in and helped. And then, yeah, I mean, I can't thank my people enough, because
Right.
without them, believing that we can come back, it would have never happened.
Yeah. I agree. A great team is this Navy SEAL said it best. He goes, when you got a great team that everybody's looking out for everybody else, he goes, you got to kill the whole team, because
Yeah,
you cannot take those guys out. You have
yeah,
to kill the whole team. Yeah.
yeah,
And that, I love what you said there when you told them we don't know what's going to happen. And then the team came up to you and said, hey, listen, how can we help?
yeah,
That's rare.
yeah. And then after, kind of the reality set in that, this may not come back, I had to get creative, and then I realized, look, I have great operations people, I have designers, I have salespeople, I have admin all here. What can we do different? What could we do different with the same skill set? And when all the restaurants said, okay, we're going to try to reopen, but we need to do COVID barriers. So I have designers and I have fabricators. So we started doing high end, plexi work. We started doing stuff that was, instead of just like, taping a plexi to a wall, we were actually creating whatever would match the existing decor to make it look seamless. So people that wanted to make it look nice, they were spending some money on it. So although it wasn't the same type of money we were making with our core business, it was something. So, I mean, we still had overhead, we had rent, we had electric, we had all the things that needed to go on, and it, funds were just depleting. On the personal side, I had to empty out all my retirement savings to just pay bills. So,
Right.
and the thing was, again, without having the people to believe that we could pull this thing back out, it would have never happened.
Gotcha. Well, at least you did it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't. So, God love you, and I'm happy for you. Has there ever been like a book or podcast or something to really change your outlook on in your approach in your business?
Yeah, I would say within the past few years, Admiral McCraven, the famous "Make Your Bed Every Day" commencement
Yeah.
speech.
Hmm.
So he has this really great book, a short read, because I have, I call it entrepreneur ADD. I can't get into novels. I can't get anything. So it's like a short 100-something page book, and it's called Leadership is Simple but Not Easy. And it's called Wisdom of the Bullfrog. Leadership is simple but not easy. And that's a great read. It really breaks down stuff. It gives you not just a military application of how something is, but also real life and other things, and it's a great read. I would say that's one of my tops.
So I love his speech on bullfrogs. He goes, if you got to eat a bullfrog a day, he goes, eat it in the morning. If you got to eat two bullfrogs, eat the biggest one in the morning. Eat the biggest one first. He's I love that guy. I also love Jocko too. He's awesome sauce.
Yeah.
Leading a team, and you got a big team. Leading a team is challenging. What is your leadership style? And give us an example and how it could help. You're a tough spot.
One of the things is that we've developed a culture of accountability. Really being transparent on the expectations, communicating. People get intimidated to speak up when they don't know something. They don't want to look bad. They don't want to look so. Really work on trying to create an open communication. Definitely have literally an open door policy. People all throughout the day coming in, having check-ins. But yeah, having a culture of accountability from top down, though, through my executive team down into the next leadership levels. That's one of the things that have been able to, I would say, give us the ability to scale from a small company in Miami to now international.
That's awesome. Sounds like things are going pretty well for you financially. Thinking about the future, have you ever created passive income, or have you ever done anything to create passive income?
Yeah. I mean, I have a high risk tolerance, so I've been into crypto for a few years.
How's that working out for you? That's pretty cool. That's a neat space.
It's doing well. I mean, investing in general, you learn a lot of lessons early. I used to be the guy, 15 years ago that was, you hear something about a stock, you chase it, it goes to nothing. And then you learn, okay, I got to invest in the strong stocks. Then as I got into crypto, it was a lot of the same. It was, the newest meme coin that's going to take off, and you get a rug pull, you learn lessons. Luckily I learned those lessons when I wasn't, putting in more money. And then I realized, you have to invest in the more stable platforms. You always have Bitcoin as a store of value. Ethereum is, everything, that's on chain is typically on Ethereum, and then Solana is the newest one that right now they just announced with the financial markets all being tokenized. The NASDAQ is actually being tokenized. So there's lots of room, lots of upside coming on those investments I made. The other thing, diversing into real estate, not anything major, but I definitely think about, keeping a diverse portfolio. Although I'm a little more risk tolerant, I still have very stable stock ETFs on, in the index. So.
Awesome. Yeah. We do multifamily real estate, and we absolutely love it. It really does kill for returns. And it's a tangible asset, which most investments really have a hard time with.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, what is your plans for the next 6 to 12 months? What do you got in the future for you guys?
Well, for one, it's continuing to capture more business as far as in, growing the pipeline. We really, one of our acquisitions and expansions was a company that does the custom exhibits, really high-end custom exhibits, because we've always been a producer of booths, exhibits, but we've always kind of kept it within the house. So we would have a show organizer that we partner with it to create the show, and then we're helping the individual exhibitors who are the vendors that are going to come exhibit by building booths for them that to their liking. But now we've leveled up our game by bringing an in-house that is like a real full custom builder under our umbrella. So that over the next few months, expanding on those capabilities within our sector. Outside of that, we also, as I mentioned, during the pandemic, when we kind of had to shift our focus, we got into the commercial renovation space and redesign, and also part of our strategy with Colombia was we actually design and do our own furniture line that we import. And so we'll actually do like what we call our permanent solutions. We work with a company that wants to redesign a lobby or maybe offices and all these things. So we'll go through. We can do all of the flooring, the cabinetry. We do millwork, all these things that we do. We also have designers, so we can redesign a space, and we can also, because we're vertically integrated with furniture, we can also supply it. So that's been another sector that I would say pre-pandemic didn't have the eye on the prize. People would ask, "Hey, do you do this?" And it was kind of like, "No, that's not in our wheelhouse." But when it became our wheelhouse, I didn't want to walk away from it. So we created a whole nother sector of our business that we call permanent solutions, because our whole business is temporary. We go in, we go to temporary city, we take it away. So that's our permanent solutions division. So
awesome.
A lot of opportunity there. So
I've done a lot of that too. Built houses, and we worked on commercial buildings too. And I actually won an award one time. Our company won an award for staircases in Detroit Home Magazine.
Oh, nice!
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was
competition
fun.
too,
dude. Yeah. So when I handed it in, they said that was the highest number. It's all. I think I did staircases and kitchens that year, and they go, there was the highest entries ever, and it's always those two are the highest. The highest entries. And they said, I got a second place. And I was like, oh man, I wish I would have got first place. And then I saw the first place. I was like, yeah, he deserved it. They did a stone staircase, like, a radius stone staircase, which was really cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I would recommend maybe, compete in some of that stuff. There are some magazines that have competitions in design. And if you get a couple good places, you get another plaque of space right on your wall.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. I'll look into it for sure.
It's a lot of fun too. It was a lot of fun too. What skill or habit do you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
It's easy to say discipline, but the one thing that we're noticing is that I like the analogy of what someone said to me once, as we're growing and trying to change and change process. It's like you're changing the wheels at 70 miles an hour. So because right now, as we're growing, we needed to do an all-inclusive ERP. So trying to put an ERP system in place on a company, and now we're up to 220 employees, and we're at 5 locations and all of these different things, and we're operating all year. So the discipline to, call out what needs to be done and when, putting dates on things and making sure that you hit, KPIs on things. So, it's easy, and, it's not, I don't want to say like a throwaway of discipline, but it's really important to put that into discipline in your calendar, discipline into the prioritization. It's really easy to kick the can down the road on a lot of things. And
agreed.
Yeah. So, finding out what's most important, prioritizing it, and putting discipline towards it, I think is one of the, things that most important these days.
I agree wholeheartedly. And you should get a podcast too. What's the name of your podcast? We can promote it on there.
Thank you. It's called Behind the Drapes, because we always work with Pipe and Drape, and it's interviews with professionals in our industry. I interview show organizers, other suppliers, and things, and basically, it's, we spend our whole life promoting a brand of a show or promoting the brand of an exhibitor, but the actual people that are doing it are always in the shadows developing and stuff. So I wanted to just shed a little light on the people that are creating the things and putting out these big, amazing cities, and get them to, a platform to share their story. And, because everyone's got a great origin story from some aspect. And I always like to give people a platform to tell their stories.
That's awesome. When you're building a dream team, what is one trait that you always look for, and why?
Oh, that's a good one. We hire, priority is our culture. And we've actually developed a system now that we do team interviews So you have the person that's going to hire the person, but then you also have other colleagues that we're going to be working or interacting with that person. So we actually do team interviews. And the biggest thing is like, are they going to be a good fit here? Because protecting the house is most important. If you have somebody that's a good fit and of course they have the ability on paper because that's why they're at the interview. We've already vetted their skills. So if you have a bunch of people with different skills, protecting the house and making sure that the culture fit is a priority that's helped us, I would say, immensely, and not hiring for a skill, but hiring for the culture. Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. When I had crews in construction, I said I would say it. I try and say it like in the Marine Corps, very short and concise. I go, I hire attitudes first and then skills second. Yeah. And they really understand what we're looking for. And this one guy told me a long time ago, oh yeah, don't worry about me. I hate being the cranky old guy. I hate the cranky old guy. And he was the cranky old guy. And just because his skills were great, but we just, I feel it's cancer to bring somebody into a great team that's a negative Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there's people out there that are, all about like volume. And it's like, right. A players are A players. You're going to level up people. But I think that, what works for us is, like I said, we created a company that really connects with our customers because of our culture. If we disrupt that, then we fall off from what our promises are.
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Hey, Richard, thank you so much for being on the show. And if you'd like to give anybody information on how to connect with you, if anybody would like to connect with you, how would they do that?
Yeah, on socials, it's at Expo CCI. Mine is Expo Rich. And the podcast is on YouTube, Behind the Drapes podcast with Expo Rich. So come check it out.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show. And for everybody watching, please like and subscribe, hit that notification button, and we're going to let everybody go. Have a great day. And thanks for being on the show, Rich.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.